Okay, we are recording. Take one. Okay, before I show you this new case that I'm going to be putting this board into, we need to go ahead and take this apart. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get busy on that. So I'm going to touch the case so that I don't shock stuff and just start taking stuff out. First thing will be the old network card. Okay, he's right here. All right. There again, I always try to touch the case so I don't shock it when I'm taking stuff out. First. So if you can help it, don't touch the contacts here. So here is the old network card. What is that? SMC. It's an SMC. Have no idea what kind it is. Okay, well, anyway, we're going to set this stuff down in a box down here under the table for right now. I really need to brush those and clean them and blow them off with some compressed air. All right, next on the agenda is the video card or the graphics card, whatever you want to call it. Back in these days, we used to call them video cards. Okay. Now, this specific board has an AGP slot in it up here, and AGP was supposed to be better than the old PCI port. So it does have PCI, and this is a PCI video card. So we will continue to use it, because if not, I've got to find an AGP card, which I may have, but then I have to have the drivers too, because this is Windows 95 and it will not find the drivers. So you have to have a driver CD or something. Anyway, it looks like a pretty nice little card. What is it? It is a, well, CT, it's a Creative Labs. So that's a pretty nice card, Creative Labs. Huh. So they used some pretty good parts in this computer. All right. Okay, now for the sound card. Now, what we need to do before we take this out is, these old computers had a wire right here that went from the sound card to the back of the CD-ROM, okay? And that was to have sound if you put a CD in to play it, okay? I don't know if that worked with games or not. It may have also. You may have not had any sound unless you have that hooked up. But anyway, that hooks to your CD-ROM. So we got to pay attention to how it goes back. And the red wire, there's a red wire on here. It goes towards this side of the case, the open side of the case, all right? The white wire goes towards the motherboard. And it goes on, there's two standoffs there. I don't know if the other one's the right size, but it goes on the standoff pins that are towards the back of the case. So we're just making note here, because I got to pull it. Got to pull it off. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than those other pins. So it shouldn't be too hard to get back where it needs to go. Okay, let's go ahead and get it out of there. Touching the case again. Now, this card is in an ISA slot, okay? They had ISA and PCI, and then this board has an AGP, so they were starting to switch over to AGP, and then eventually they would phase out that ISA slot, okay? And they'd phase out these ISA cards, which I believe, I may be wrong on this, but I believe it was a 16-bit slot, okay? The PCI was a 32-bit slot, okay? And the AGP, I think it was just 32-bit too. It was just a different, I don't know if it's faster. I don't know what it was. Anyway, they started updating to the AGP. And I had bought some AGP cards back in the day. All right. Now, the next card is the modem. Now, obviously, we don't need a modem. I'm going to put it back in there simply because it's got drivers in the machine that use it. So I don't want to throw it for a loop. If it was a newer operating system, it probably wouldn't hurt anything. But I don't want any errors, so I'll just take it out and put it back in. I'll probably never use it because I don't have a phone line. But that's what we used to use, is the old modems. Okay, let's wiggle him to get him out. All right, there we go. There's the old modem. It's got phone lines. It's got a phone line in that give you access to your internet and phone. And you could also have software, phone software on your computer. And you could answer your phone on the computer and stuff. But it also had a port out that would actually go to a phone set, okay? And you could still make phone calls through your phone by going through this, okay? So it was a cool little deal, really. You'd be hard-pressed to find any of that these days. But anyway, that was a cool deal, and that's the way we used to do things back in those days. All right. There's my CD-ROM cord, which I'll probably need to reuse. Now, here's going to be where I'm going to have to take some notes, okay? I do have a manual for this board, so I could probably get everything back. But I've got to take all these off. These are like the front panel, your hard drive light, and your power light, and reset switch, and your power switch, and everything. So we got to take those off and get them put back in the right place, because that new case will have its own set of wires that have to go in the same spot. So we are going to have to turn this up, okay? And I'm going to have to get down in there with a flashlight and make notes. Let's see what we've got. Okay. We've got the reset switch. Okay. And it has a gray and red. Okay. That's the first one. Now we have all the front panel disconnected. All right. I'll go ahead and raise her back up here. So anyway, we got all that disconnected right there. Now for the next thing is our IDE. I need to pay attention how they've got these, because I need to put them back the way they go. The first thing, though, I think I'll do before I take out this board is I'm going to take out, I think I'll take out the hard drive right here, okay? All right. So I'm going to have to stand it back up for this part. Try not to cut myself on this bare metal. Okay, hard drive sits right here in this bay, and it's hooked up to a ribbon cable, and it looks to me like it's on its own cable. Let's look here. Get some of this out of the way. And it's on this bottom one pointing down towards the bottom of the case. I don't know if that's J18 or something like that. Anyway, you kind of got to be careful with these pins. So honestly though, I technically don't have to take it off the board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the hard drive itself. I'm going to set that down for a minute. Okay, there. You got to be careful if you get these things out too crooked that it could bend the pins. You can bend the pins back, but it'd be better not to bend them in the first place, you know? So you might just be careful when you do that. Let's go ahead and get this hard drive out of it. Got to spin her around. See if we can get to it from this side. Well, somebody did not get the screws in very tight there. Or over time they may have just backed out, I don't know. Usually there's some holes through this back plate that you can get to the screws. And then drop them. Well, there it is right there. Okay. All right. Now, need to kind of get stuff out of the way here and just carefully pull this out. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. If we can see it. It's a Fujitsu. A Fujitsu hard drive. Let me see if I can see. How big this is. Sometimes they would print it on there. And they've got all different. Well, it's pretty good size. Let's see. Okay. Can you tell me how big you are? 306. Okay. Yeah, here's the model number. See, MP 3064A. Or where are you at? 3064AT. 3064AT. Whoa. This is a 6.4 gig? Wow. That's pretty good for those days. Date 1998. 03 of 1998. So it'd be March of 1998 is when this drive was made. Got your IDE hookup here. You got your power, Molex. You have your jumpers. You had to have those set correctly or it would not recognize this dude. All right, I think I'm gonna set him down here too. Out of the way, if I can get him down there. Okay, we'll set you down there in the box. All right, so we've got that out of the way. All these screws that are coming out are the same size, so it shouldn't be a problem of intermixing them. Okay, I really don't need to take the CD-ROM or the floppy drive out. However, I do have to unplug them. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug these things. And what goes to where here? All right, that's my floppy drive up there. This is the secondary IDE. This is a secondary cable, and it's going to the CD-ROM. So I can go ahead and unhook it. Just let it dangle down. I unhook the power, and then up in here, I know you can't see it, and I can't get a camera up in there. Here's the power to the floppy drive right here. That's the power. And then the cable is just another ribbon cable. It's smaller than your IDE, okay? Just a little smaller. And it comes undone, and it's plugged clear up in the top. Okay, now, the only thing that should be left is, let's see. Okay, I do have this cable, but I can't see it just yet. What we have left here is the connector for the power supply to the motherboard. All right, now, okay, used to, some of these would slide apart and you could literally put them in backwards if you weren't careful. This is all oriented, it's all one piece, and it'll slip right back in to where it goes. We're gonna take this power supply out and then see what we got left here, okay? So we'll go ahead and get this power supply out, and it has 4 screws that holds it in. And they're the same size screws as everything else, okay? Now, this power supply works, so we'll just keep using it for now. I have a couple other old power supplies, but I have no idea whether they work or not, and I don't want to damage the board when I know this one works just fine. Okay, now I don't know that it's being held up by anything, so I'm going to have to hold it with one hand. See, it's already loose. All right, it may be sitting on a lip, maybe. All right, let's spin it around, see if we can get it out of here carefully. Oh, it's in a slot up at the top. Oh, I see. Okay, it's on the bottom there. Okay, it's still on the lip. So what do you have to do to take it out? You have to, I'm not sure what you have to do. I think I know what you have to do. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put one more screw in this just to hold it up there so it doesn't fall. I think I've got to take this back off. This back plate opens up, okay? And I think this thing has to spin around that way to come out. I think. I'm not positive on that. But if I go ahead, let's see, that's not attached. Make sure that everything is not attached. I can go ahead and take these IDE cables out because I know the short one goes to the primary, which is the one towards the front of the computer. The IDE cable. They've replaced those with the SATA HDMI stuff. So, not HDMI, I'm sorry, just SATA cables, SATA drives. Anyway, there's your secondary cable. Now, some of these, and this one would work, they have another piece like this black piece, down about right here, right in the middle, and you can hook 2 drives up to one cable. Now, I have a bunch of those, and you can literally, with this board, I bet you could do that. But you had to hook it up in a master-slave configuration so your drives would work properly. Okay, so we got that out, and there's another cable. Okay, that's my floppy. That's my floppy cable. He's up in there too. We'll go ahead and get him out. That way when I open this up, it doesn't. So there's your floppy cable. It's just a little bit, looks the same, but it's a little different. Now this has cogs, so you can only put it in one way, but generally there's a red wire on each one of these, okay? And if you're messing with an old computer, this red mark usually always faces down or the back of the computer, okay? Just depends. Just depends on which way you're going here, okay? All right. Because see, let's look to see if that's the case. So you put it in like that, and that red wire, it faces down, okay? On the floppy cable and the IDE ribbon cables. All right, the memory's still in there. We don't really need to take it out. There's a fan on the CPU, which is up underneath. It doesn't have to come out. If I do that, I have to put new thermal paste on it and everything else. All right, this computer has a latch that this back plate can spring out. It's held on by this screw, okay? It's held on by that screw, and I should be able to pull this back and, okay, I gotta be careful there. Oh, there's still one on there. That is the fan. Okay, we're all right. It's a Molex connection to the CPU fan. All right, we got that done. So there we go. This old machine is pretty clean, actually. It's a little dusty, but not bad at all, really. So there you go. Molex connection for the central processing unit. I will probably clean this up a little better since I've got it clear out, okay? So now all we got to do is we're gonna scoot this back out of the way for now. We do need to, before I do anything else, okay? Before I do anything else, for one, we need this back plate right here because it's gonna have to go in the new or new used case. I'm going to try to get it out without bending it. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Usually, and they're supposed to, a new computer board, a motherboard, would always come with a back plate. That way, all the connections on the back of the board would fit. So there's our back plate. Got to keep that. All right, now let's see what's going on with this. Okay, I've got to take this back out. All right, now let's see. What are you doing? Well, they certainly didn't make it easy to get out. Okay, nothing broke, it just popped out of there. That thing just barely went in. It's hanging on with this lip, and then there's a thing up here, you cannot back it out. That's crazy. But there it is. We got the power supply out. And it doesn't look bad either. I may take it back outside and blow it out really good though, since I've got it out. Do you work, fan? Oh yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and set him up out of the way. Things are a little dusty, but not too bad. Okay, here is my little cable. Now on this one, the white went towards the right. All right, let me get my flashlight in here and make sure that, okay. R goes, okay, R ground and L. I don't know what L is, but that's the way it goes. the red to red, okay? And they have the master, they have it set as master. That's why we'll have to set the new CD-ROM as master on that. So there's my cable for the sound for the CD-ROM. All right, that case there is pretty much done, except now what I need to do is I need to get this over here. Let's get the motherboard over here and go ahead and get it off of this board or this back plate if I can. So I'm seeing a few screws. Now these screws are different than everything else, so you need to keep them separate. I have a bunch of these screws and stuff. I don't know if I have any of these little washers. Okay, let's see. Standoff. Got a bunch of standoffs on here. Let me look here. Standoff. It looks like they just put screws on the backboard there. I may have to reuse these standoffs too for spacing. They're screwed in, I think. But we are going to have to get a pair of pliers to take them off, to take these out. Got me a pair of needle nose. The rustier, the better. Not really. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Now, it may be that I don't need to put this many standoffs in it. Let's see. You have to pull them in. This may prove kind of difficult because he's got so many in there. Come on. Gosh. What are you doing? Okay. There we go. Okay, I see. I see. There. Okay. All right. Yeah, there's a little thing that you push in. Okay. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Yep, went back down on there. Oh, there we go. Ow. There we go. Just needed a little help. All right. There we go. This is a M5ALA BIOSTAR motherboard. Socket 7, and I can't remember for sure, but apparently this possibly has a K5 in it. AMD K5. I'm not sure on that yet. There's two versions of this board. This is version 1. Version 2, I think you could put the K6 in. So I have to see. Back then, they were changing standards all the time. They could have put a K6 in this one, you know, because it may have been a later version 1 or something. I don't know, but they were upgrading standards as they built the things. So we'll see what's actually in it. Well, there you have it. So, gosh, look at all these. That's cable management pieces. What on earth? I guess they were using them as standoffs underneath. Wouldn't hurt anything. All right, well, let's move these cables, and we'll just set this board right here. Okay. Let's move them out of the way for right now. All right, now I can go ahead and take these standoffs out here, these little plastic standoffs, and I can probably reuse them in the new computer if we need to. There's the two solid standoffs. They've got a washer underneath that one. It just must have been so it fit better or something. I don't know. You can usually loosen those with your needle nose pliers and then take them out. I don't know that we're going to need that little washer on there. Probably not. I'll take him off and keep him. I've got a bunch of these standoffs too, but there's different thicknesses of those things. So you don't want different thicknesses or your board will be off kilter. All right, so there we go. Let's go ahead and put this thing back in here. All right, let's see how it goes. Just like that. There we go. Let's, this screw is the screw that went in. We'll go ahead and keep this case, and we might keep it. I mean, that switch is still good. Those switches go bad, and if the switch is bad on that one, I can probably use this switch in it, possibly. Okay. That's a reset switch. All right, well, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, I've done a little bit of cleaning to this case, but here it is. The case I'm going to use to put this old motherboard in, and we'll see if we can get it working. I still need to do a bunch of cleaning. I need to open up the thing. It's got some fans in it and things. They're old. This is an old used case, and I need to clean those fans, take them off and clean them real good, and hopefully they'll still work. Anyway, here's the front of the case, and it was a mess. I had to take it all apart. It's got all kinds of nooks and crannies to clean, but anyway, it pops open like that and then opens up to your drive. This, I'm gonna have to change this. I'd like to keep it, but it's a SATA, so it won't work with this board. I'm gonna take one of these out and put one of the floppy disk in. I've got a black-faced floppy disk to put in here. And I've got another black-faced CD-ROM. Hopefully will work, but we will see. May have to hook the old one up, and I don't know. And we'll see what happens, okay, with that. Anyway, here is the case. So hopefully it's gonna work for us. Like I said, I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna take the front and back plates or covers off of it, and then go ahead and clean these fans real good. Now this lights up red, evidently, and I've got some red LED in there too. Now, I'm not sure if they work, but we'll see. We'll see if they work. It'd be cool if they did, but they may not. So we'll just give it a try.